got a report in that they're telling the people on the East Coast, the New York State residents, not to drink or cook with any water out of their faucets. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you have been listening to me for any amount of time, I have been giving direction, and my direction has not changed one bit over the years. And of course, the only thing that I can say that has changed is actually adding to the direction that I've been given. And that was a couple of years ago. I was saying you need at least 20 gallons of good clean water stored in your home. And it was probably a couple of months ago, I said now you need 40. You need 40 good gallons of good clean water. And you see, when you have storms like this Sandy that has gone through the East Coast and is just ripping and tearing and stuff, now all of a sudden, the people in what they call the prepper community, meaning the people who prepare, all of a sudden they're some of the most intelligent people that there are, because the electricity is out. There's not going to be any trucks running in and out of town. And now all the people who are pessimistic against us, all of a sudden, you know what they're doing now? They're looking for the people, because a thought will come up in their mind. Now, wait a minute. Does this man or does this woman store food and stuff? They'll be knocking at their doors. Do they have water? They'll be knocking at their doors. Are they prepared? See, the people in the world, they don't think about any of this until disaster happens. Then their mind recalls the people who have told them certain things. And I'm sure that the Israelites on that coast over there, they're doing fine and well, especially if they listen to me, because they have prepared themselves. And I don't know how that this world has twisted, warped, and distorted our minds to make people think that anyone who decides to take responsibility for their own lives, who chooses to not depend on the government for handouts or for every answer in their life, how all of a sudden these people become terrorists, how all of a sudden that they have twisted, warped, and distorted our minds into believing that these people, they've got a screw loose or something wrong with them. No. My mind is if you don't store food, you are a nutcase. If you don't prepare, you are psychotically insane. If you don't prepare, you've got a mental disconnect from reality and common sense. And that's just the truth. Of course, I always tell people, hey, get out of the cities. Now, people say, well, why should you get out of the cities? Well, just go back to the Bible right there. Just go back to the Bible. I mean, you don't see Israelites in the cities unless they're in slavery. And that's all there is to it. And hey, our people, when you look at the biblical record, we have been in so many slaveries. Even still till today, this last slavery and captivity here in America is just utterly amazing. But I understand that when the powers that be put information into your minds and you do not choose to exercise independent thinking, that your mind is going to function and doubts and thoughts are going to arise because it's already been trained. And then the people who are really truly for you, your mind is going to tell you that they are against you. People who are really truly trying to be instrumental in your life to help you, your mind, if you've been manipulated and coerced by the system, is going to tell you that they're your enemies. When the truth is, they use this thing called reverse psychology, and they are actually your enemies because they're not giving you any answers or providing you any answers. Can you imagine what it's like right now on that East Coast with all the water that's been dropping, the flooding going on? Can you imagine what's going on right now with no electricity, with over 10 million people without electricity? I want to use this as an opportunity to tell you people that, hey, your pastors and teachers and preachers, they ain't preparing you. Your mind is not preparing you for stuff like this. When are you going to start thinking? And that goes for everybody all across the United States of America. We've got to stop getting jacked up by our thoughts that we can't make sense of. Now, I understand, hey, it's none of my business if you don't have ears to hear. But every day, every single day, there are people who are understanding this and they're waking up and they're not believing in the lies and the coercion and manipulation, the way that this country has trained people to believe. And people are just not securing their persons anymore by trusting in this wicked system. They're starting to have ears to hear. Well, I hope that everybody is fine. I really, truly do. But I tell you what, in the last few weeks here, we sure have had a lot of stuff that has gone on. And you're not going to get out of this thing unscathed. There's going to be some people that die from this thing. It's simply because they're not prepared. I think about the people who are probably in hospitals. They no longer have electricity, stuff. How they're going to survive. They're going to be working overnight to get it out, and it's just utterly, utterly amazing. Stay tuned to the Straightway Truth. Also, there was a report that J. Snip Ford did that CNBC ran an article about there's a $43 trillion bankster lawsuit that was filed in New York. And then one day after, CNBC reported the executive children were murdered. Amazing, isn't it? They tell us that 9/11, some terrorists outside this country orchestrated and implemented that attack. They tell us that they got Osama bin Laden and they buried him at sea. They tell us that people are drowning in 2 feet swimming pools who have information on what's really truly going on with this system. Of course, when you believe that the Sabbath is Sunday and rabbit lay eggs and a big fat man is going to give 7 billion presents to everybody in the world, I mean, why can't they just tell you anything that they want? You'll believe it anyway.